Welcome to the Business Finance Bulletin, episode 177. Welcome again to the latest Business Finance Bulletin with me, Rob Warlow from Business Loan Services, the commercial finance experts. In this bulletin, finance support for UK exporters, call for help for small businesses looking for finance, and tackling late payment, a glimmer of hope. Many small businesses are finding it tough still to access finance, but there's one sector within the UK economy that finds it increasingly tough to get finance, and those are UK's exporting companies. Yet when it comes to getting finance from the high street banks, it's always a challenge for exporters. As we know, the government is on a big drive to try and make businesses much more amenable when it comes to exporting. They really want to boost the number of exporters to counter any negativity that may come around Brexit. So the government has realised that access to finance is a problem for exporters, so it has announced a new initiative via the UK Export Finance Department. What the government has announced is that department is now going to partner up with 5 of the leading high street banks, being Barclays, HSBC, Lloyds, RBS/NatWest and Santander, to provide facilities and support to those banks to pass on support to UK small businesses. Now, the department's support will come in the form of a government-backed guarantee, so the banks can provide working capital loans and bonds to those exporters. But this initiative also goes a little bit further. It recognises that those exporters may also struggle to get finance in order to buy materials and raw materials and goods from their suppliers. So this initiative will also allow suppliers to exporters to get access to finance via the scheme as well. So we got the finance support for the exporters and the exporters' suppliers, a really good initiative. So if you are an exporter or a supplier to an exporting company and you want to know a little bit more, go along to your favourite search engine and type in UK Export Finance, and that will then take you to that dedicated page, where there you'll see a lot more information on how you can access this new support. Over the years, there have been a number of initiatives to improve access to finance. But as I mentioned in the previous segment, many small businesses are still finding it tough. Well, a new report has come out by the Banking Futures Initiative team. And this report, entitled Banking Small Businesses, they've come up with a number of suggestions. The first is that they want to see banks being much more proactive and much more transparent about the alternative finance solutions that are out there for small businesses. They also want government to step up and provide a much more supportive environment for growing small businesses. In terms of the process of borrowing money, in terms of the lender agreement, they're suggesting that agreements should be much more simplified to make it easier for businesses to understand exactly what they're getting. Also along those lines, they're suggesting a standardised agreement across all lenders, so when it comes to comparing finance quotes, at least you will be able to see quotes side by side and compare like for like. If you're in disputes with the bank, they're also suggesting setting up a Financial Arbitration Service where business owners can get a swift and transparent resolution to any disagreements that they have. And lastly, in terms of the British Business Bank, they're suggesting that its remit is widened. So it also goes out there to collect data on who's borrowing money, who's lending money, and also who in your specific region is supporting your small business colleagues. So a number of good initiatives suggested there. But of course, one thing you can do as well if you're looking around for alternative source of finance is to go and find a local commercial finance broker. Go to your local search engine and find somebody who can provide you with independent advice on what is going out there. Of course, you're very free to contact us. Just drop us an email, info@businessloanservices.co.uk, and we'll take you through all the different options that you have in order to finance your growth plans. Whenever I cover the topic of late payments in these bulletins, it's always doom and gloom. There's always bad news. Now, whilst in this segment I'm on late payment, there is some bad news. There's also a bit of good news, a glimmer of hope. Well, there's a new survey's come out by BACS, which is the provider of the online direct debit service, and they've calculated that small businesses are currently owed just over £14 billion. Now you may think, well, where's the good news in that? Well, 5 years ago, that figure stood at just over £30 billion was owed to small businesses. You can see a significant drop, which is of course good news. The bad news? Well, the survey also looks at the amount of time spent by small businesses on chasing overdue payments. They calculate that 39% of businesses said they are spending more than 4 hours per week chasing overdue bills. Also, 12% of the businesses surveyed said they're employing somebody specifically only to chase late payment. What a waste. Now, the really bad news, though, is because that 19% of them said that if they were owed between £20,000 and £50,000, it would be enough to tip them over the edge. And that's really worrying. So what can you do? Well, of course, the main thing about late payment is to have a very clear process in place to avoid payments being late, and to make sure you do follow that process rigorously and ruthlessly. Make sure you're chasing debts as soon as they become due, so there is no slack, that the people feel pressure from you and your team. Chase up late payments. Don't become a victim to late payers. Well, that's it for another bulletin, and as ever, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to give it a like and a share. I look forward to being with you again next time, and so have a great, successful and profitable week. Bye-bye now.